Hello everybody on my YouTube channel. I just wanted to make a video talking about adoption. I know this is gonna be a little different because I usually make me playing video games and just fun videos, but I want to talk about something, so it's gonna be a little different. And if you all like it, just give it a thumbs up, and I would really appreciate it. So please don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe if you enjoy my content on my YouTube channel. And so, about adoption, I'm not just talking about adoption as in adopting pets like animals, dogs, cats, guinea pigs, whatnot. I'm also talking about adoption as in children. So, this is a little personal to me because I don't like, and I try not to get too political on my channel, and really I'm not a political type of person, but I will say this, I just do not like abortion. I don't like that they give females the right to decide if they want to abort a baby or not, because I'm also a Christian, so I believe that abortion is wrong, and it also says that in the Bible. It doesn't really talk about abortion in the Bible, but it does say that God knows you in the womb. So, pretty much God knows when a female is pregnant, they know the baby before the baby is even born. So, God knows the baby before the baby is born, and pretty much God created us. Like, He created the. I'm trying to word this right. He created the heavens and the earth. He created the ocean. He created the moon, the stars. He created everything. Some people think that the world, that earth and everything was just bam, immediate, like just out of nowhere. But no, God created everything. And so back to, oh jeez, okay, if you hear that noise, it's Rocket, one of my cats, wanting food. She's got food, so she shouldn't be doing that. Anyway, back to adoption. So, women, I think it's better that instead of just aborting your baby, you should give your child up for adoption. And some people might say, oh, well, the United States doesn't have enough resources and enough places to, like orphanages, for example. They might not have enough orphanages or people who want to foster kids. So, I understand, but at the same time, it's better to just give your child up for adoption or just put them in a foster home where a foster family can take care of them. And yeah, it's just better than killing a child, because technically I consider abortion pretty much murdering your own child. Let's just put it that way. Abortion is murdering a innocent child that hasn't even experienced life. So, women, do not abort your babies. Just give them up for adoption so that they can experience life for themselves. And also I know some people are gonna say, well, what if and so what I'm gonna say might be for older people, teenagers maybe, to understand. So later when I'm uploading my video to YouTube, I'm gonna put on the comments to have them for people 18 or older, because I don't cuss, okay? But what I'm about to say is technically adult speaking, adult talk. So some people might also say, well, what if a woman was, let's say, raped by a male and they don't want to have the child because they don't want to bring the child into the world, because the world can be a scary place, and I will admit the world is a scary place, but you have to get over your fears and just go through life and just handle it. I mean, it's not easy, I understand. It's not easy for women being raped. It can be scary, emotional, and whatnot, but still, if you're thinking about aborting your child that you didn't intend on having a child in the first place, but the guy is all up on you and doing all the things that guys do, then my personal opinion is just don't abort that baby. Just give that baby up for adoption. It's better. They can at least have a somewhat normal life if they get adopted by a family that will love them. And some people might say, oh, foster care isn't that good because some foster parents are let's say abusive, which can be true in some cases but not in all cases. I'll just say I was, and this is personal, but I don't mind saying this because maybe it will help some kids, teenagers, to see that foster care isn't always a bad thing. So I was put in foster care when I was in 6th grade. I can't remember how old I was, but it doesn't really matter how old I was. All I'll say is I was in the 6th grade and I was put in foster care. The principal called social services on my mom, but I'll get more into my personal life in a different video. All you need to know really is that I was put in the foster care system when I was in 6th grade. I was put with this very nice Christian family, and I could always, if I wanted to, like some days, go see my mom or my dad, just have like a little visit for maybe, let's say, maybe an hour or so, and then I'd have to go back with the foster family, and it wasn't that bad. They took care of me. They really cared for me like most foster parents should, but of course some people say, oh, some foster parents who foster kids are in it just for the money because the government, and I do know this because I watch so much What Would You Do, which is a TV show where they get these actors to act as people, well, not real people, but they get actors to act out certain situations like foster care abuse and whatnot. And I might also make a playlist just showing the videos of What Would You Do and the foster care system scenarios that they have. And it, like, I watch so much What Would You Do, it's unbelievable. But yeah, some people might say, oh, some foster care parents are just in it for the money, and they spend most of the money on their biological kids, or just don't spend any of the money that they get from the government to help care for these kids that are in the foster care system. And I'm just saying that's not entirely true, because my foster parents that I lived with for about a year, and I will not say their names because I know they probably don't want me to say their names, but yeah, I'll just say I lived with a foster family for about a year, and it was good. They bought clothes for me, they took care of me, they did most of the things that normal foster parents would do for kids that they have to take care of. And so, yeah, foster care is a good place for kids to be. It's not always a bad place, but in some situations it can be, I know, because I hear things about foster care and how bad it can be on the news, but as I said, that's not entirely true, and sometimes the news isn't always right. And yeah, I'll just say sometimes the news can just talk too much about bad things. Why not just talk about good things for a change instead of always talking about, oh, somebody's been murdered, da 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 da, and foster care is bad for children. It's not necessarily bad, as I have said. It can be a good thing, but I do understand some situations it can be a not so good place for kids to be. But yeah, so I think adoption is good. Abortion is not the best choice, women. So please do not abort your kids. If you're thinking about aborting a baby, just please give your child up for adoption if you don't want that child. At least let your child have a life and live their own life. Let them experience the world. Don't just say, oh, I'm aborting you. I don't want to have you in this world, da da da. The world is a scary place, and I don't want to bring a child into a scary environment. The world is not always scary. The world and humans are good. Some humans are not so good. Some humans are good. But most of the humans the people that I've been around are great to be around. And also, I think adopting, let's say, like kids with disabilities, adopting kids with maybe Down syndrome or autism. Adopting kids with disabilities is also a good thing because kids ultimately want to be loved and feel like they're in a loving environment. And that the same thing goes for kids with disabilities. So please, people, give your babies up for adoption if you don't have the stability or resources to take care of your own baby. Just give them up for adoption. Do not abort them, because maybe later on in life you'll regret it, which most likely you will. After a while you'll think back and you'll be like, oh, why did I abort my child? I should not have aborted my child. I should have given my child up for adoption, and that is a better choice. Just please, women, I'm talking to women in particular, give your kids, your babies, up for adoption if you don't want to take care of them, or if you don't have the resources, or your life isn't stable. Just give your babies up for adoption. And also, it is kind of a little personal because I do know a friend of mine from church adopted 2 twin boys. I will not say their names for privacy reasons and whatnot, but my friend adopted 2 twin boys, and they are the sweetest boys that I know. I've known them ever since they were, I'd say, maybe at least 2 to 3 days old, and I've been babysitting them with my aunt. she's been helping me to help our friend from church take care of them, and yeah, they are the sweetest little boys ever. And I am just happy that the birth mom did not decide to abort them, because if they weren't, I can't imagine life without them, because they are the sweetest boys ever. They are so friendly, and yeah, I just love them so much. So yeah, women, do not abort your babies. Just give them up for adoption. That is the best choice that you can make, in my opinion. The best choice is the simplest and easiest choice to do, and that is give your babies up for adoption and let people who are willing to take care of your kids, just let them adopt. Yeah, so that's just a quick little thing about adoption and abortion and just what I think. And as I said, I'm not a political person, so I am not going to be getting all way up there in politics. I do not want to get into a political debate with people online saying, oh, you're wrong, abortion is the best choice. I'm just speaking my opinion. I have the freedom to say what I want to say, and technically YouTube is a platform where people can talk about things and say what they want to say. So, I'm just speaking my own opinion, and if you don't like my opinion, then just click off the video. Just leave the video and just don't watch it if you don't agree with it. And if you don't agree with what I've been saying, don't leave a rude comment saying da 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 da, you are wrong, because chances are I will see the comment, but chances are I will not reply to your rude comments. If you're gonna be rude, just do not comment at all, please. That's all I ask. All I want is for my comments to be nice and friendly. And if you want to speak your opinion, that's fine, but don't, like I'd say, belittle me or make me feel like how I feel and what I am saying in this video is wrong. Don't be like angry and put, if you're typing comments on your phone and you put the angry emoji a lot, just don't say mean things, don't cuss, because as I said, chances are I will see the comment, but chances are I am just going to ignore that comment, that rude, awful, cussing comment, if you do decide to cuss and whatnot. And as I said, I don't cuss, and I don't like people who do cuss. I mean, I do have friends that cuss, but I just tend to ignore what they say. Like, if I hear somebody cuss, I'm like, okay, you do you. I'm just going to ignore your cussing. And so yeah, and also I'm making the adoption video because me personally, I do plan on adopting in the future because also I personally do not want to go through the physical pain of having to give birth to a child, and maybe that's also because I've watched too many shows where let's say uh there's this show, I can't remember specifically what the show is called, but it's like a show where women don't know that they're pregnant, and they turns out when they go to the hospital and give birth, they find out that way that they're pregnant. And so yeah, I plan on adopting, as I said, because I do not want to go through the physical pain of having to birth a child. And also, I think that it's personally better to give love to a child and adopt a child that doesn't even have a place to call home and doesn't really have anybody to call mom and dad. Also, parents who plan on adopting kids, if the kid that you adopt, and I want to say this because some parents will be like, hey, I want you to call me mom, and I want you to call me dad, da da da. Well, don't expect your child that you're going to adopt, especially if it's maybe a, let's say, teenager, because teenagers go through emotional issues and whatnot, and so teenagers might not want to call you mom or dad at first. Just give the kids that you adopt time to adapt to the living situation that they're gonna be living in for a long time until they get to be adults themselves, and then they get to decide what job they want to have and where they want to live and whatnot. Just don't force your adopted kid to call you mom or dad at first because they might not want to. They might want to just get used to the whole situation first, and then after maybe, let's say, 2-3 weeks, they might start calling you mom and dad. So, yeah. And so, I plan on adopting kids in the future. I'm only 24, so I don't plan on adopting yet, but in the future I will plan on adopting kids, especially once I have my own house to live in. I live with my aunt and uncle, but I plan on saving up my own money since I have a job to get my own place to live eventually. And then afterwards, after I settle in and whatnot, I will plan on adopting kids. And yeah, adoption is the best choice. So, yeah, I just wanted to make a different video talking about how I feel about adoption, also a little bit on how I feel about abortion. And yeah, abortion is wrong, especially if you're a Christian that believes that God created you and God creates the babies that you will eventually give birth to. So, yeah, I plan on adopting, and that's pretty much all I have to say, at least for right now, about adoption. So, bye everybody on my YouTube channel.